Is new gear always the best gear? As a photographer, people tend to think that buying the latest and greatest gear will make you better. Let's face it, how can one keep up with the latest gear when companies such as Canon and Nikon release new cameras every year? For some photographers, they feel the need to buy new gear when it comes out. For others, they rather use the gear that they have been using for years until it's time to buy new gear. Today I will go over the pros and cons of buying new gear versus waiting until your old gear fails. New gear is pricey, especially for photographers who are just starting out whose business has slowed down. Keep in mind that most photographers who are in business tend to spend thousands on a camera body alone. Now let's say you're a photographer who has spent $3,000 last year on a camera to get your business going, and your favorite manufacturer decides to release a new camera this year. Do you think that buying that new camera will make you better at your craft, or increase your business? 9 times out of 10, it won't. See, the thing about most photographers is that we're gearheads, and some of us feel the need to buy the latest and the greatest gear, and some of us feel that buying the latest and greatest gear will make us better at our craft. But if you say that, you're basically saying that those who have come before us, like Ansel Adams and Gordon Parks, were not great and had inferior equipment. Remember, they shot on film, which history has shown that when you're looking at work from the past pros, it's all about the photographer and not really about the gear that they use. When you're looking at the cameras, what features are you really looking for? To be honest, most cameras that came out last year will share the same features as the cameras that came out this year. Some of them just have another name added to the end, another name or number added to the end of them. Most cameras share the same features if you're shooting portraits or weddings. The only thing that may be different is now that they offer new cameras with video recording. And if you look at newer and older digital SLRs, under the hood, they share the same sensors and the same controls. With that said, the question is, are there professional photographers who are still using the gear that they used 5 years ago? Yes, there are. Now, there are a few professional photographers who are considered the rock star photographers, who do seminars all over the country, who seem to buy new gear every year. Don't be fooled by these guys. They are more than likely ambassadors for the brands that they're talking about and get their equipment for free. Truth is, many photographers would rather use the same camera that they bought 5 years ago until it fails, and then spend more money on more equipment. Many professional photographers would agree that to keep your business profitable, especially in harsh economic times, one should purchase only new gear when it arises. Oftentimes, newer photographers feel the need to buy new cameras with more megapixels than last year. And if you have the money, by all means, that is up to you. But many professionals would tell you that megapixels really don't matter. On the website PCMech.com, they have an interesting article that breaks down the misconception of megapixels and how picture quality is really about a good quality lens and a great photographer behind the lens. In closing, gear really doesn't matter, and it doesn't really take expensive gear to make a great picture. You can put a $4,000 camera in the hand of an amateur and get horrible results. And at the same time, you can put a $500 camera into the hands of a seasoned pro and get magazine quality work. So when it all comes down to it, buying new photography gear every year will not necessarily help your business or build your cash flow. In my opinion, it's just taking money out of your pocket. If you have great gear, use that gear until it fails, and then invest in new gear.